probably most recently, just when you learn about the emotional lives of kids who become teenagers, I think it's exercising empathy instead of trying to fix things.
Welcome back to Dad Central, a parenting podcast to reduce stress and build confidence in fatherhood. As part of our summer series, we're bringing back conversations that have stood the test of time, and this is one that every dad, we think, needs to hear. Now, in the second part of our conversation with Penn Holderness, we shift from surviving the early years to building a strong relationship with your children as they grow. In this episode, you're going to learn why trying to fix your child's problems can sometimes actually push them away, how empathy helps your kids feel safe to keep talking to you, and one simple mindset that will help you stay more present and intentional as a father, no matter how busy life gets. If your goal is to raise kids who trust you, open up to you, and stay connected to you as they get older, this conversation is full of practical wisdom. So let's get back to our conversation with Penn Holderness.
So Penn, you strike me as someone who has been very thoughtful or intentional about being a dad. So I'm just curious, would you agree with that? Do you feel like you're very intentional, and where does that come from?
Well, I had a great dad. He passed away last year. He had pretty bad dementia for the 4 years before that, so that when he did die, he was relieved. People around him were relieved. Alzheimer's sucks. I don't have to get into that. It's terrible. Mm-hmm. But before that, he was a preacher. And when you're a preacher, you work 20 hours a day sometimes. Sometimes you don't sleep. You have your family that you have to raise, and then you have a church community of people who are in almost constant need of your guidance. And that is what you sign up for, and it's what your family signs up for. So I didn't see my dad that much. But what I did see of my dad was the person that I was just describing how I would like to be, was an incredibly engaged, present father who was intentional about being a parent. Mm-hmm. He was intentional about certain things like honesty, quality of time when you had it. So when we were together, we were doing something usually pretty cool, but it wasn't so cool that took away from the one-on-one relationship that you were having with that person. For him, a big part of our cultivation of relationships was through sports. And it was usually trying to either watch something together, play something together, or talk about it together. And that has absolutely transferred over to myself and my son. And the other part was fishing, which he was a better fisherman than me. And it's harder to find fish that in an ocean that's getting increasingly disgusting. So we've moved on to just like amping up basketball more, where I'm like coaching his AAU team. So that's what I do with him. With my daughter, I kind of coach and travel with her for a tennis team. For me, those have been ways that you can speak the language across every one of these eras, whether it's being a toddler, a kid, a teenager, a young adult, where you can make a connection with that person through all of those eras and still be there for them. So part of my intentionality is taking what my dad taught me and trying to do it, and also having like a thread that goes through the ages. And for me and my dad, it was sports. And I guess it's kind of the case with both of my kids as well.
I got to get this one last thing in. You have a very active existence. What do you do to balance, and what do you do to invest in yourself?
I play a lot of tennis. Okay. And I've just taken up pickleball. Like, I'm looking for time efficient stress relief. Yeah. And so golf took too long. Golf took way too long. But we have a tennis court and a pickleball court that's like walking distance from here. And I've made a bunch of friends who all, by the way, are dads who I think are doing it for all of the same reasons. And it's a pretty great stress relief in that sense. I'll be honest, like I enjoy my job. I like it. Like I like doing it. I don't like it more than spending time with my family, but I think there were times when I needed more of a stress relief in my life. And for me, it's like the tennis helps. Honestly, my kids are at the age where they're a stress relief for me now. Like I see them come in the door and I know they're going to do something funny or cool. So that's great. Spend time off as well.
Excellent. Drew?
Yeah, I mean, so many good things. Really appreciate you sharing, and of course, I'm really sorry to hear about the passing of your father. But it sounds like there's a tremendous legacy that you are carrying on. I really love the point in particular about finding something common that actually connects the different generations, right? So I'd imagine while he was around, he would connect over your children being involved in sports and then your involvement in their sports. So that's really, really powerful. And I think a great lesson to take away, because I'm always looking for things to connect with my kids, and 5 of them, they're all unique. They're all different. But something that can tie us all together, I think, is really powerful. And, that's a great thing that for dads to do that is very, I think, tangible, doable. You can go and find, okay, what's one thing I can do to connect with my kids? So I love that point. I'm not sure if I have a final question other than I do need to get this in because my kids love watching your videos. And in particular, they told me I had to tell you this. So they love your Costco video and they want you to make another one.
That was hilarious.
All right. So that request is coming in.
Okay.
And then my one daughter, Michaela, I'm not sure if I should tell you this, but maybe we'll get it in there because I know you've got your partner, but she says, Kim's really funny. I love her in the videos. So anyway, so just wanted to share that from my kids. They love watching the videos. They love the work that you're doing and bringing a lot of joy and a lot of fun to a lot of other families through the work that you're doing. So from my perspective, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. And Kim is the funny one. People don't realize that. Like that's common knowledge around this house.
Where can people find out more about your family?
Beg your pardon?
Where can people find out more about your family?
Oh, so, I mean, we have a website. It's theholdernessfamily.com. If you go to holdernessfamily.com, that's like my actual family's mailing list, which is really funny. We've been trying to like buy that for my extended family, and people go to that all the time and they're like, why am I getting a spreadsheet of your mailing list? But if you go on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, we're pretty active on all those pages. It's sort of where we live, so you can find us there as well.
Well, Penn, we want to thank you and your family for what you have done, are doing, and will be doing. And if there's anything we can do to help what you do, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right. Have a great day.
Pleasure. Thanks very much, Ben. Take care. All the best to you and your family.
Yeah. So, and let us know if you need anything else. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Penn. All right.
All right. That was a beautiful conversation. And yeah, so much. Let me just get Drew proper here. There we go. So that was a lot of high energy. That was quick, but a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, what I loved is what I picked up on is he sounded very intentional. He talked about, you read in the books or you do in these things. So he's invested a lot, in his fatherhood journey, as well as, navigating some significant challenges. He talked about that new fatherhood journey and, being thrust into, I think he called it the Manny role. He talked about, the feelings he went through. He said it was emasculating. So there's a lot to process as a new dad, but he also talked about how crucial that time was. And so it's not easy, but it's worth it is my takeaway. And it's something that looking back 16 years later, he wouldn't trade. He would actually encourage others to go through that. And he said he also felt, I think, grateful for that experience. It was kind of thrust upon him. He might not have chosen it himself, but looking back, it's highly valuable. So I think that's an interesting part of it. And of course, now his family and the visibility and how that impacts on his children. And that would be hard also. Yeah. He's learned an important lesson though, which I think is great for me because my children are approaching the teenage years and I want to be able to connect with them. I want to be able to create space for them so they'll be able to share. And his learned experience says, or lived experience says, you can't fix it for them. You got to create that space so they can share and open up and know that it's okay that they're going through something hard, and you just empathize. You're not going to fix it. So I mean, there's more, but in the quick conversation, lots of energy, but I think a tremendous amount of value.
Yeah, well, the first thing I get from it is we have to have him back because there's so much more, and he has quite the schedule, family. Like he does have a lot of things going on, but I love the relationship with him and his dad, and how the legacy, you know, the legacy is continuing with the relationship that he had with his dad from his younger. And again, condolences on his father passing away, but he's continuing it, you know. And let's be honest, not every father has that.
You're right. Not every father has that, and it's a tremendous benefit to have someone you can look to as an example or have lived that experience. You know, I could say I didn't really have that, right? I had an early childhood experience that created more trauma than necessarily comfort or even some intentionality. And I think that's why I'm really passionate about our new project called Dad Mentor, because it's going to be providing that type of support for fathers, whether you've had a great example in your life, and maybe they're not in your life anymore, or whether in particular, if you haven't had a great example, but you're looking for some support, you're looking for some guidance, you're looking for another person, another dad or dads to kind of point you in the right direction because you're Dad Mentor is exactly that. It's a community of like-minded men that are coming together and supporting each other in the journey. And so I'm really passionate about seeing Dad Mentor, impact men and provide that safe space for them to connect with others and get that guidance. Very practical, step-by-step knowledge. I got this challenge. What's my solution? And then they can go and apply it to their life. So if you are curious to learn more about Dad Mentor, please go to dadcentral.ca/dads. And you're going to learn all about Dad Mentor. It's a community for dads by dads, and it's going to help you be the dad that you want to be and make the connection with your children. So looking forward to that and having people come and join us in that experience.
Okay, and I also just want to, you were reading my alleged mind, also how Penn made time to take time to be with other fathers. That community aspect, with all the stuff he has going on, he makes sure he's intentional about it. And of course, it involves sports, but it's at least a community building thing where he just gets ready just to be a dad and just be himself. And whether it's on the tennis court or the pickleball court, he's intentional with that. But fantastic. Well, let's close it off. The Dad Central Show is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. Dove Men Plus Care believes that care is the best of a man, because when men care for themselves and others, there's a positive impact. Let's hear from you. Email us podcast at dadcentral.ca, and then website address dadcentral. I'm messing up today. Listen to the podcast at dadcentral.ca/podcast. That Penn just put all this energy in. I've got to slow down a bit. And then website with a pile of resources, dadcentral.ca. Thank you so much. We love your feedback. We want to hear more of it. Thank you for all the people that are coming to the YouTube page and the podcast page, and especially all the people checking out our YouTube shorts. Appreciate it. So remember to give yourself grace, and don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for the second part of our conversation with Penn Holderness. Today, we were reminded that some of the most important things we can do as dads aren't about having all the answers. They're about listening with empathy, being fully present, and creating a relationship where our kids know they can always come to us. If you enjoyed this episode, we would really love your support. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen. And of course, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and share this conversation with other dads. These simple actions really help us reach more fathers and families. Now, of course, if you're looking for more practical tools to help you become a calmer, more confident, and more connected dad, then sign up for our free Fatherhood Fundamentals email course. Just go to dadcentral.ca and you'll see it right there at the top of the screen. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time on our podcast. And as Ed, my co-host, likes to say, remember to give yourself grace.